not being streamed.
No, it's not streamed, but I record it and we put it on YouTube.
Gotcha.
No,
Okay.
it's not streamed like because I think the people who want to see this can just join. You don't have to say a word, but you can. And we use it a lot we had like in the DigSTAR I was talking before, we had like a daily meeting for an hour every day, and somehow it was just like some different coordination calls, and it worked quite well to get like some basic coordination going on. And also like we always had like there was like the people talking, but we also had the chat, which sometimes is less informal, and people can just ask question if they don't want to be that public, or if they just join to ask a question, they can ask in the chat, and then normally the host then takes it and asks. So I think it worked quite well. It's more like informal. It's not so formalized. Like if you need, a password to enter call, then you have even more hesitate to be part of this, and it should be like mostly low level. Yeah. So welcome and thank you for joining. And this is like the first. I call it like a weekly contributors call, and the idea is to repeat this like every week, I guess the same time, and everyone is welcome to join. And I use the word contributor because I think it's more focused on people who are closer to the Aladdin DAO, and not like for really public, for end users, but end users can join too and ask questions. That's not the thing, but contributors, it's more people who are contributing. And I guess all the members of the pool are of course contributors too. So just I think we do a short recap. We had like all these research races. I think it went quite well, and there was also, I guess most people missed this. It was repeated by the Chinese community on I think maybe Shirley, you correct me, JNews. And so the Chinese candidates, they had like a second one they repeated it on a second occasion for the more Chinese orientated community. And this is like what happened. And now I think we go into voting soon. I don't know. In fact, I have looked it up. Voting should start in 2 days, I guess. I guess this is still the case, Shirley. Okay, can you help me with this? Shirley, do you know? Is it on Twitter? It's the voting starts like in 2 days for the candidates. I think this is still the case. Yeah, I know. That was announced like this. And then looking forward, we have like a very look at my notes, what I said, what we will talk about.
I'm curious about one thing. So, I mean, it's definitely. Well, just I think that this is maybe like a a thing that would be helpful to get in order earlier on. Is just like it seems like we have a really strong user base that is Chinese speaking, and it seems like there are certain things in place to translate meetings and stuff like that. But I'm curious about that and wondering if there's anything we can do to be like proactive, to just, it seems like we're a really bilingual community. And so figuring out procedure around, maybe getting a really good translator lined up and kind of getting our ducks in a row around that seems like an important thing to get in order, maybe even before the Boole election, because it seems like maybe there's like anyway.
It was something with like a challenge, I guess. We had like the calls, and some of the calls have been like translated by the host mostly, the Chinese calls. And I think it's it's one of the tasks we have to bring it more together. But now, I guess it's like, I don't know. You surely normally organize the Chinese part of this, and yeah, I think me personally, I think we should go into the voting, because we have like, it's like something who holds us back. Not having like these candidates, but nobody knows if he's really in part of this or not. And I think, of course, it's like a for us Western, it's quite we don't know what's going on in the Chinese community somehow, and I don't think we can like solve this now. I guess we have to deal with this and look who is voted in, and then we have like, then people can much more commit, because now I guess some of the members are just on hold. Also, I don't know how much voting power they have, and we will see. I don't think we should. I don't think we should prolong this and wait longer till we go voting, because I don't think it will resolve. It's more about some development we have to do, like to bring these cultures together. And I was more thinking that we have like, dedicated person who come to a call and report, like for the Western part, report what's going on the maybe on Chinese community. Yeah. What do you think about this, Tom?
Well, just having sort of point people for like the language communities, or
Yes.
what would? Yeah, I think
No,
that could be.
that we ask people who are very connected to the Chinese community that they report to, come to this call and make a short report what happened last week on the Chinese community.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see. The thing is that some of the Chinese community members, they don't speak English, or they can't. They don't understand English very well. So it's I don't know how to deal with this, honestly. So it's just we have to try to get some connection. And
Maybe a good first step would be to identify like one or two or three people who have native Chinese and also very
yes,
good English, and kind of like just get people to act as like in a translator role more like formally for the DAO. I mean, I know like that's been happening pretty well, so I think we have enough people in that category. But yeah,
yes,
I think it's a smart idea to have Chinese community calls, English community calls, and kind of do cross reporting by these translators between. That makes a lot of
yes,
sense to me.
yeah. Yeah, me personally, I'm quite far from this, Chinese, what's going on in China. So I think it's more Shirley's task to, yeah. Do you have anything to add? You're fighting with the,
It's a challenge for me to play around with this software.
yes?
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't see, couldn't hear anything. So I had to drop out and dial back again.
Now it works. Yeah, I thought it's the easiest one too, but maybe, it's not, every time it's like new and different.
Yeah. So please go ahead.
The question is about the voting. Do we vote like in 2 days for the candidates? This is like set.
Yeah, I think so basically we had like 40 plus 45 people, right, like demonstrated across all the community meetings, so I think the bull candidates have really demonstrated their understanding of DeFi and their capabilities in investment, right? And I think the rule is very clear, right? So either we vote, people who get top 30 votes in terms of number of total tokens behind the all, right? So anybody who gets like supporters representing over 10% of the Aladdin token circulating supply, right, will be elected. And so we'll kick things off on 24th of September, and the process will run for 5 days. I think from this point onwards, I think it's more important for the bull candidates to show their willingness and commitments to contribute, right, and service the community. We all know that we have a bunch of brilliant people, right, and to be involved in this campaign, right, and they're very capable. But do they really care about this, right? Do they really want to do this? Do they really have time for this? Right, and I think probably it's more important to show to the community, right, in the next few days, around their commitment and the willingness, before giving out, the votes. That's my thinking behind.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I think the one of the concern, Tom, it's just about that. This like we don't know. Also, for me personally, I don't know how big is the influence of the like Chinese part in this, and how much voting power they have. And we don't. We as a Western candidate, myself, I'm quite visible, but I guess other candidates they don't have a possibility to reach. Like they don't know how to reach them. This is also maybe. Yeah, maybe this is also, you had used different software to distribute all the calls or to stream the calls. And for us, it's we don't know these platforms. And so it's like uncharted territory for us. But, this is what happened. We have to deal with incomplete information all the time. So I don't think we can do much with this. We can just try to add some transparency and
Yeah,
this is maybe
I think you can reach out to all the people in Discord, right? I think everybody from Chinese community, they're also part of Discord. They just don't use the software that often, because most of them use WeChat on daily basis, and it's token, right? It's fair, but there's nothing completely fair, right? So who participates in liquidity mining, right? The distribution of token, right? To be honest, I don't know, right? And so so only people care about this will vote, right?
And in fact, everyone is free to use some Google Translate and then go to the Chinese channel on Discord and try to get some. I know. So why not?
Yeah, I don't.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't think you have to do that, right?
No. But it would be. Maybe it's fun,
Yeah, I don't think you have to do that. To be honest, I think so we will put out a big proposal on Friday, Eastern time. So the proposal basically just profile of everybody going for the vote, and basically people who have presented throughout this campaign, right? And then well, there's not a lot of pressure, right? We just need to vote 30 out of 40 plus.
Yes. So it's much more about who do you not vote for at the end,
Yeah, it's not 30 out of 300, right?
Yes.
I think the chance is, because the pre-selection, has been really strict, right? So, it's 40 plus out of 1,600 people, right? So, and then we just, select another 30, and maybe, we'll end up with, a lot more than 30, right? If the community really like more people to be involved, right? We'll get more people, with support over 10% circulating supply. And I'm more than happy because, I think, we really have a brilliant crew, right? And, basically, everyone is, really qualified, right? In terms of capability.
Well, that was going to be my question, is sort of what's the upside in kicking people out? Like, it's, at least from my perspective, there were very few, maybe no people on the calls who seemed to me like they weren't qualified to, be part of the pool. So part of me is wondering, like, why kick out any of them? I mean, I know that we're going to have a tighter group that is more closely coordinated and is like, more making sort of day-to-day decisions around the DAO. But, some of these people that kind of clearly don't have much time on their hands, it's because they're very deeply embedded in DeFi. And, sort of like if they're, I personally don't have a problem having people that sort of are incentivized to at least just bring, early stage projects to the DAO, but maybe don't have the time to, be part of the governance aspect so much. So I'm kind of wondering what other people think about that.
What I can add to this, I think this is like Allen DAO is like special, and especially is more how to distribute the token. At the end, members of the pool, they get a lot of token over the next 4 years. And so the idea is that, and you only get like this token if you constantly vote for your projects. And I think this is like this. It's not that this also in my head. It's some time. It's a little bit complicated. So they get a lot of tokens, but of course they have to work for this, because you only get a token if you work like for the projects. You work projects in, or against the project. So this is one source of. They are not like they are not the governments in a way, in a way they are just like the people providing like this expertise. And of course they started to get a lot of Aladdin tokens, so they grow into the role of govern the system, because they get a lot of voting powers. Of course they also can like sell the votes and just go away. That's their choice somehow, but at the end, I guess what you're telling me, Dom, and I agree with you. I guess these kind of people have so much knowledge, and they should have like also more a role in governments, like without having token. I was thinking more a direction of one person, one vote. That it's maybe, it could be a source of governments for itself without the token. But of course, this is like a power shift. If we say now we have the tokens holder are originally like they govern the system, and now we introduce like a new power entity who is like the pool, maybe one man, one vote, however we do it. And I really think the pool should govern at least themselves. They should have maybe coordinate themselves and be a source of power. But this is all to be done. This is not. This is one of the tasks of governments to find a solution for this. And of course, they are a great source of power. And I guess if this is the reason I think voting is important, to get this vote done, because then it's clear who is like a member and who not, and then maybe we can discuss this, as members, and then we also can say, we want to incentivize people bringing in new projects. And I guess the great thing about like this vote governments model, or about having a token to vote, the pool members are free to be, to coordinate for themselves, then speak maybe with one language, one voice, and tell like the Allen DAO, we would like to have like change the distribution of the token, and we suggest we do it like this, that we can have, the people who didn't make it, maybe that we can have, their knowledge too, but this is not set now. I think this is one of the tasks we have to do.
Yeah, I think another thing that I've been thinking a lot about is how you incentivize projects to be early on Aladdin DAO. And I think that's maybe sort of tied into, maybe the Bool candidates that are busier but have, better connections, is sort of like they might have first access to, protocols that maybe are in the stage of their liquidity mining where it's really juicy and it's maybe a really good project. And we really want to incentivize those people to bring that project to Aladdin DAO, before anyone else. And so I'm almost trying to think through my head, like, how you could change the Aladdin DAO emission curve to incentivize, new stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of, I think Aladdin DAO is relatively, it's more, what you're thinking, we are like too late, normally, you think if pool can be publicly farmed and the token is already there, we are relatively late to the game, and of course, I guess it would be nice to be like earlier and then also have like, get more tokens of the project. Honestly, I don't know how, I think we can do this by, and for me, this is like a business to business product, that because at the end, it benefits also the project who gets like, who is integrated into Aladdin DAO, because Aladdin DAO doesn't sell the token, so that we don't produce like selling pressure at the end. And a project of token benefits from this because they don't get, they are not dumped all the time. But I think the core product of Aladdin DAO is like this three-way market, and I guess this is just one of the first, would say, first example now we work on, and then maybe if it's proved to be successful, it can be repeated on different fields, I guess. Yeah, Tom, if you have, if you really have like, sometimes it's really helpful if somebody just writes it down, because then we can discuss much more on important, make a proposal or draft a proposal. I think this would help very much, because then for a lot of people this kind of discussion are relatively abstract, and if there's a proposal, then it's much clearer how it could be implemented, such thing.
Cool. Well, maybe I'll try to write up something around some initial ideas. I mean, the other one, like, I think, again, so I'm a VC, so I'm talking to a lot of like early projects, and they're all in this category of trying to get early liquidity onto their platforms. And, they're all kind of willing to, I mean, that's what liquidity mining is you make concessions to get early users. And so if we figure out really well how to play the other side of that, I think there's like some interesting opportunities. Like, one thing I was just kind of came to my mind is, if we sort of can offer like, and again, this is kind of goes deeper into how custodial Aladdin DAO is willing to be. But let's say if we can, sort of raise money from our just DAO members, and we say, okay, we're going to launch this pool, and in exchange, we want some of your token treasury to buy and burn Aladdin DAO tokens. Then we have this kind of mutual relationship where Aladdin DAO token holders are incentivized to, we kind of get a kickback in value of our coin for being early liquidity on another person's DeFi project.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. We should work in this direction, and go ahead with this. Maybe write something down, and then we will see. I think it's also always a good idea to, if, of course, you know the field much better than I, but if you can make like, if we make like if you have an idea like for the structure or product, then we can also ask our potential customers, in this case, as you said, the early stage project, and ask them what do they need, and then we can iterate on this. I think that we have like two other discussions, and one discussion is, and this is more like, it's not my discussion, but it's one discussion, and this is about the selling pressure we have now. And there's like a yeah, Shirley and I, we discussed, and this is not multi-chain, but it's much more that, you know, the thing is, if you look at the farming market, you know, if the mood is good in the market, it's bullish, then farming is nice. But if it's bearish, then farming does really harm your token value, or the value, not the token value, but the price of your token, because in a bearish scenario, people farm and dump immediately because they expect the price to drop even more. So it deepens the curve at the end, you know. And so one short time measurement to loosen the farming pressure would be to, you know, to give part of the farming token not immediately, but with some time. You lock it up, you know. And of course, this is something who has, every project has this problem that they get farmed, and this is somehow part of the game. But maybe there are different reason way to do this, and one way is that how Sushi did it. They just said, yeah, you can have a token you get later. You get like in a half, I think 3 months later. And the other way is how Ellipsis did it. You know, Ellipsis is like a curve clone. And what they did is they said you can immediately get your farm token, but then you have to give 50% to the stakers who stake the token. And I think in the long term, maybe Charlie can add something to this. In the long term, we have like the idea to more like yeah, to take the fee model of curve with fee curve token, V curve, that we incentivize people to lock the token up for voting power. And because I think even we could really, you know, take the token model of curve, you know, make a V Aladdin power token, and then also like have like this, you know, curve has also this voting mechanism where the holders can choose which pool gets how much token, you know, per time. So this is another incentive that people lock the token up, and then also like the project themselves have like an incentive to lock the token up and vote for their own projects. But this is much more complicated than this model. But yeah, you know, myself, I'm divided. Somehow I think that's just the game. You know, if you farm a token and people get yield out of it, then of course the token gets sold, and then the people willing to be long-time investors, they buy the token, and at the end it's like it's the token moves from the people who are more short-time investors to the people who are long-time investors, and somehow it's okay. But the problem is more that the broader community sometimes it doesn't understand this model, and people buy the token because they think it's it's a good project, but then, you know, they see how the selling pressure is like, yeah, it weakens the coin and the price is going down all the time. So somehow it's political, you know, to make something for the small, for the retail at the end, you know, who doesn't understand where the yield is coming from, I guess. Yes,
Yeah.
Charlie, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah. So I think the software does make a difference. I can't really hear
I'm
things
sorry, yeah.
clearly. So next time I suggest we move to Zoom and Discord. Just make it more user friendly for everybody. Yeah. So on token emission, we do see, we do feel the pressure right now, right? So the initial stage of the token emission, as we planned out, it's for the community to get token and to vote for the pool members they like. right? So this is designed specifically for the voting process, right? And the token emission, I think it is, a little bit, too much, than the community probably needed. And we do feel everyone has seen the pressure on token prices in the last couple of days. So, we have got some suggestion from some community members, and we have been circling with a couple of people and to get their feedback and thoughts. Probably it's in the benefit of, the entire community, just to reduce token emission. Probably we have an interim solution, right? Just do something similar to what Sushi did, right? Just reduce token emission, like half of the token emission for 3 months, right? And then we have, this time to work on a staking solution, similar to VCRV curve. And everybody love it, right? You can stake to get to more voting power, to get yield enhancement, right? And I think that really fits well with Aladdin DAO, and because we have so many votes, and we have many liquidity mining users, right? So people can just improve their governance power and their earning power in the system by staking Aladdin tokens. So that's just benefit everybody overall. But I think that takes some time to do the R&D, and so we have discussed internally with our developers. So our lead developer, Jamie, and Yuming Zerox on the call as well. So the initial feedback is, this probably will take 1 to 2 months, including audit, right? So thinking, probably, put out interim solution just to reduce the token emission by half for next 3 months, right? And then we release that after 3 months when we launch the staking solution, the VEA.
Yeah, is it rolling, or how does it work in detail? So you get you don't get you don't get a token now, you get it in 3 months, but you don't get all of them in 3 months, or you get all of them, or how is it? I don't know how Sushi did it,
Yeah, so basically everybody participating mining get half of their rewards on live basis.
Yes.
And the other half they were going to get in 3 months, but there should be, some like vesting schedule for that, right? It could be, maybe another month for vesting. So this is not fixed yet, but we definitely need to go through a community governance process if we decide to do this. And just like to bring this up on this call,
Yeah, I think that's one model, and the other model I liked it somehow. What Ellipsis did, and this is different because then everybody can, you don't. So you say that you can stake your Aladdin token and you get like a share. I don't know. Maybe it's too much work, but the idea is then you can stake your Aladdin token and lock it up for 3 months or so, the existing one, and then if people want to sell immediately, they get half of the revenue of the sell. But it's a different model. It's more flexible, I guess. But yeah, we have to discuss this in detail, and maybe you just should take the simplest solution without there, because yeah, we're going to move in a more V-curve model. Yeah.
So Yuming, do you want to just comment on this from engineering perspective, product and engineering perspective?
I think this would be also a good. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, Jamie.
Yeah, I think it's better to let Yuming to introduce that, but I'd like to give some simple and idea about that. Basically, I think this what Shine has just suggested and or introduced is the simplest way to do and to implement right now. Since we distribute the tokens like per block, and actually the data can be controlled by the multi-sig contract. So if we go through the governance process, and after a voting process, and the community with the community agreed, then we can like immediately like set the produced LD per block like to be a half of the current one. So that is very easy to implement, and no need to much extra works on that, and we can earn. It can also earn some time for the development for the next stages. Yes, that is the basic like a simplest and simplest idea and the easiest way to implement.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it would be also like a great, it's easy to get this vote. If you vote about it, I think it's relatively easy to it could be a great way to vote on this first, because it's relatively simple, it's not, and I guess most holders like agree on this, because people who are long-time holders, of course they see the selling pressure, and they like that the price is not going down at the end. So, and it could be a great way to like start with the governments, because it's simple.
Yeah, and the most important thing is that it's also fair to everyone, right?
Yes.
Because if we let the user that like they stake by themselves, then maybe some of them are just sell about that, and some of them they who trust this project, who believed this project and support this project, will stake these tokens, and that is if the price like is falling, then that is unfair to them. So what's important here is to create a forced rule to everybody and is fair to everybody.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, maybe you and me, maybe we can have like write it down how it works, and then we can have try to formalize this and go into a vote as maybe next week or the end of next week.
Yeah, we are preparing a proposal, and we'll
Cool.
put that on the phone first.
Yeah. Nice. Let's do this. Okay.
Okay, so
Scott,
well, yeah,
you're talking to us. We don't hear you.
yeah. So I think it's good for the token prices, and it's good for community building overall, right? And so we'll prepare a proposal and put out and see how people respond to that. And I think what Tom suggested is a really good point as well. I think it'd be great if people just put things in writing, right? So and then people can comment on this on asynchronized basis. So everything we put out, we want to actually hear community's voice, right? And then make a relatively fair decision, right? There's no absolute fair decision, right? Let's try to balance out needs, right?
Yeah.
And consider all the trade-off.
Yeah, we have like Scott. I had like Scott have been in the forum, and I asked him to join. And Scott, do you want to say a few words? You're muted, I guess. You're muted. We don't hear you. You have to unmute you on the Maybe it was not the best choice. This. You're still muted.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry.
you needed to enable the permission of like a Chrome or the browser.
Yeah, of course you have allowed the browser to use your mic, You know, normally it's on the you
Left.
find it on the clock left. You know where the lock is. Normally there's a lock showing up. The connection is safe, and then you can access your sorry. This is it looks like a bad choice for community cores. You know, I'm used to this one, but so I get it set up. So we give Scott some time to figure this out. You know, other discussion we want, maybe this is like my thing, and this is more discussion is like not now. It's not important now. It's much more about multi-chain. And I guess we have like an issue because mainnet is relatively expensive, and how we want to go, which idea we are floating around to go multi-chain. And my idea is sometimes I think, you know, all the chains have like different markets somehow, because there's also different use on different chains. And I think there's like two models, and we have seen different models. One model is that this is like the normal model, and the normal model is like you bridge your token to another chain, and then you have like the same token on the other chain, which has the same voting power, but then it's on a different chain, and then you do you deploy your code on the second chain, and then you have like a duplication of your system somehow. But the issue is this leads to government's problem in a way, because then you have some of the government's token who govern the system are on a different chain, and then you can't use them to govern your own system. So this is maybe not the best solution. So, and maybe I also think what we see with Aladdin DAO, and sometimes I think it's a different market. So I was thinking, but this is a model who it's not existing very much. You know, it's that you make your own token for a different chain, and this is much more the idea that you replicate your market on a different chain, and then make maybe you make also a dedicated pool on another chain, which then is like experts on this chain. This is just I think that we don't have to figure out this right now, but
I think we are.
Think
I think we are open to all of these choices, like mint the tokens or in the Ethereum, or mint tokens in different chains. But the priority is it works from the technical aspects. So, but the priority right now is that we need to finish the elections in for elections in Ethereum chain. That is the most important thing. And the next thing is that if we want to go to multiple chains, then we need to decide that what is the structure of the DAO or the sub DAO in the specific chain. So different chains has different assets, different risks, and different communities. So we are thinking about that. So the priority should be like we should decide the DAO structure first, then we will decide what is the best choice for the token mint. In the technical specs details, in the technical aspect.
Yes.
So I just want to add to that, right? So we actually have got invitation from a couple other chains to be, to deploy there, right? And including one chain with a massive ecosystem already. I think Aladdin now is very much needed on that chain, because there are many work pools, and so the I think it's an architecture issue first, right? So we want to have different sub DAOs for different chain, or we want to have one DAO works for all chains.
Yes.
So that is architecture issue, and we have to think through and design first, right, before we can go through the technical issues.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So I think this is not that urgent, right? But
No.
it's in the background, right? We
Yeah.
should hold a separate meeting, right, for people who are interested, just to discuss
Yes.
this.
Yes. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's also because I guess we want to be. The product is also for retail, and retail it's just can't make it on
Yeah.
Ethereum right now, and that won't change.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think
It's not urgent, but I think we should like make a pilot, choose a chain and then try
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I think product wise, technology wise, mechanism design wise, right? They very much the same, right? Because the other chain just fork what Ethereum had.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are other things to consider, right? When you go deep dive into other ecosystems.
Yes.
Right. And that's actually a new territory for myself.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I guess the government's thing, you can really do.
Yeah.
You can make it quite complex, and then it's not to handle
Yeah.
anymore because you have so many places you govern. You have to govern, and then
Right.
it's very hard to coordinate. And yeah.
Right. So it's like on Solana and BSC, right? And it's
Yes.
definitely not just product and technology issues.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe this chain need their own bull, because if you know what's going on Ethereum, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you know what's going on in BSC, so you need
Correct.
like your own bull there. And then this also means, yeah, maybe you need a specific token there. And then
Mhm.
the thing is who is like the core, the Aladdin DAO as a mother DAO, who is the relationship between these
Yeah.
structures. And yeah, this is
Yeah.
quite
I think
complex.
we can discuss this, as a separate issue in depth.
Yeah.
So I think Yumi is on, right? So Yumi, do you have anything to add?
Testing my mic. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. So do you have anything to add?
My 2 cents regarding to how we can do cross-chain, like what cross-chain future looks like for Aladdin. I think there was a lot of good ideas that was already mentioned, a lot of things that needs to be discussed in future proposals. And one thing that I just want to mention that we should keep in mind or that we can think about is how we move liquidity between different chains or L2s, because that's one of the biggest issues that I see currently for any project that is on multiple blockchains. Right? For like currently there are 2 type of ecosystem that one project can branch off of to. One is a traditional sidechain like BSC or like Avalanche, where it's completely different blockchain. And in order to do cross-chain, you whether need go through an official bridge or some kind of third-party bridge like AnySwap, which both of them requires liquidity to be locked up on either side of the bridge.
Yes.
in order to allow liquidity cross-chain, right? Which is it's good if it works if you have if you're moving just small amounts of tokens, but it's very difficult when you have large transactions. But what I believe will be much easier, which is already which is great that it's currently taken off, which are L2 solutions such as Arbitrum or Optimism, because cross-chain liquidity is not an issue for those ecosystems, because in the L2, right, it's not a separate blockchain. All the tokens that are already on Ethereum already exist by default on L2s. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
More or less, yeah. But you also I read into Arbitrum how they solve it, and they have like it's, I don't know, it's a classical bridge at the end. You have the token contract on Arbitrum, like a replication, or like there's a standard ERC21 you can just use, or you can like add your special features. But I don't see the difference between a bridge and what they do. But yeah, this is maybe too technical, this discussion. But
Oh, you mean
there are other solutions. the other solutions are the solutions who don't go on mainnet, who move the token from one L2 to another L2, and this is even more, that you don't. Now I guess we think always we have to go over mainnet, and then you go from mainnet to the L2, but there are other upcoming projects who handle like L2 liquidity. What's even more, it leads even to more fractalization of liquidity. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's it for the first call. I don't know, are there any? Scott, did you manage to your mic? It would be very nice to hear you, but
I think
you can.
Scott wants to speak, right?
Yes,
He
yeah,
tried to
but
speak a couple of
yeah,
times.
but I don't have. He just can speak. I don't have to allow him to speak. So maybe, Scott, I would suggest that we have like a call V2 afterwards with different, or we switch to Zoom, and then if somebody wants to move over, we can have a chat with you, and you just have to note. Yeah, sorry about this. It's like it looks like it's not the best choice, this tool. I like it because you don't need a password, That's just that's one of the reasons.
Yeah, so is there anything else anyone want to cover? I think we have obviously two to-do items. One is on this token emission proposal, and the other one is Tom's proposal. To include more pool members, for people who are really capable. Anything else we should, take away as actionable items from this call?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think just encouraging people to write things down. I think it would be great if some of the stuff that came up today, I've been planning on posting on the forum, and I would encourage others to do the same.
Yes, definitely. And I think Martin and Tom, just one thing we should do, right? So, we have all these different small groups, right? On Telegram, I have like 3-4 different small groups with different pool members. On Telegram, Discord, right? Some of them in WeChat, right? We should really just, pull, like all the pool candidates together and talk, in one place.
Yes. Yeah, we somehow decided to use Discord for this,
Right.
And I think we should try to get the discussion there rolling together with the forum.
Right.
I think partly there might be a thing around, like for me at least, the like public channels feel like when you're up for candidacy, you kind of really want to make sure that everything you're saying is, super buttoned up. So that might be why people have been a little bit more shy in certain venues, but maybe just kind of reaching out to people and saying, hey, that's, the Bool only Discord channel is private, and like let's just talk really openly in there. And
okay. Yeah, I understand this concern, but somehow, I think for me this is part of being a DAO, is that it's like very open, and of course we shouldn't. I'm not like a maxi in this, but I think as said, people have to vote about what's going on, and so they need some transparency. And somehow this colludes very much how the rest of the world works. Normal corporation, they normally don't see what's going on behind curtains, and we will see. But
that's fair.
Of course, this is it's a concern. I understand, and I'm not maxi. I just think that now we should. One goal is just that we get Discord running. If it's behind doors or open, I don't care. But I think it's important that we have like one point where there is a discussion ongoing, because now it's like I myself, I've discussed on Twitter direct message with some people, then have like some things going on Telegram, also on Discord, and I think it would be help like everyone if we say, yeah, Discord is like the first the communication channel of choice, and then yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you for joining, and I think that's we repeat it next week, and then we get this running. Thank you very much, everyone.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. See you on Discord.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, see you on Discord. Yeah, ciao, cheers.